This week on Carolina All Out.
Lynn,
Chris,
good to see you again.
Good seeing you.
I really appreciate it so much.
You are welcome.
Gunsmithing and freezer filling. This is Carolina All Out.
This week, the All Out crew is once again headed back to the edge of the Uwharrie National Forest to one of North Carolina's institutions of higher learning, Montgomery Community College. This college is unique because outside of the typical college curriculums, it offers taxidermy, gunsmithing, knife making, and forestry. But this time, we're not here to mount a critter, but to have the lead instructors at the gunsmithing and NRA school take an old Remington 270 of Chris's and turn it into a sure enough shooting machine. And when you have a deer rifle that shoots like a laser, then of course it needs to go through its paces in the deer woods. So later in the show, Chris heads to the refuge at Cherry Island to put meat in the freezer with his newfound love.
Well, you might recognize where we are. We are back at Montgomery Community College, and usually we're going in this room over here where Andy's at, but today I've got a gun that the gunsmith program is going to be looking at and probably make it a little bit more accurate. And well, here's Lynn right now, so he's going to take the gun from me. Lynn?
Hey, Chris. How are
Good
you,
to
man?
see you again.
Good seeing you.
All right, it's
This
clear.
is her, huh? And she's clear?
She's clear.
All right. Well, come on in.
All right.
All right, Chris.
Looks like some work has been done here over the years.
A lot of work. A lot of work. That's for sure.
Don't mind the mud. That was from another hunt somewhere or another.
Well, you know, that's what you want to see. It's a working rifle. All right, so we got a Remington 700 ADL here.
Yeah.
Make sure she's clear. Let me drop that bolt since we're going to be here in the classroom and have it out of the way. So tell me about the rifle, what it's doing or not doing.
Well, I would say it functions, everything functions fine. It just doesn't seem to hold the grip like it did when I first got it.
Okay.
And mind you, it's pretty much stock, but you know, I wasn't sure if it was me or that, but just in the last shooting I've done, it's like pretty much on the bench. It's just not the group seemed to be spread out there.
Okay.
So I don't know, but I know that I'm not that well known for taking care of a gun, so there could be some issues here in the barrel or something like that, but you'd know about it.
Yeah, well, she looks like she has definitely been used. So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and set the barrel in the vise, and we've got a bore scope that I can actually look inside that barrel and determine the condition of the bore itself. Pretty heavy nick gouge right there. Anything like that edge there, you can see it's just eating away. Anything like that is just gonna disrupt that projectile as it's moving, you know, down the bore. Yeah, that looks pretty bad.
Yeah. So what are you trying to say?
Well, what I'm trying to say, if you've got a tool that you like, you need to take care of it. All right, so there's the number one thing, but I'm saying that there's a way that we can fix this.
Awesome.
All right, and
There's hope.
Yeah, there's hope, and the way
Wow.
that we're going to fix it is really by replacing the barrel.
All right, well, I'm ready to see this process get started and to
Okay.
try to understand a little bit more about what this all means.
Right, okay.
Because I've heard you say some things concerning accuracy versus precision and
Right.
that sort of stuff.
All right, well, accuracy is only moving the sights or moving the scope so that the impact of the round hits where you want it to hit. So if we had a bullseye here, all right, there's our bullseye, and you shot at the bullseye and of course the round impacted here, all you would have to do was make a correction, bring it to the center of the bullseye, there's accuracy.
Right.
What we want to do with your rifle is make the rifle both precise and accurate. Now, precision, there's a 5-shot group, not very precise, all right? But if we've got a group that's now like that, 5 shots, that's precise. So precision is what we're about. Once we get the gun shooting like this, then you can just simply move your scope where it needs to be to move it back to the bullseye.
Gotcha, gotcha.
All right.
Understood.
So in order to do that, we need to rip this rifle apart, get it down to the bare bones, to the receiver, and to the barrel itself, remove the barrel, and then we can start the machining process of actually fitting a new barrel to that receiver.
All right.
Don't go away. There's a lot more gunsmithing action coming up. Carolina All Out is brought to you by AgriSupply. It's what's inside. Carolina Cooker Cast Iron Cookware. Tools, cooks, legends. The North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. Go hunt, go fish, go wild. Montgomery Community College, blaze your trail. And by North Carolina Farm Bureau, helping you is what we do best. Don't go away, there's more Carolina All Out coming up. Chris is at Montgomery Community College with Lynn Fagan with a gun that's all to pieces.
Okay, so with the Remington 700, there's a few different surfaces that actually need to be machined. The first surface that we need to focus on is going to be the face of the receiver itself. You know, we want to make sure that this face is square as it can possibly be.
Okay.
Also, if we look down inside here, you can see that there's a surface there that's called the bolt lug abutment. And that bolt lug abutment, it's important that it be square because the back of the bolt lugs itself actually go in and physically lock against those abutments.
Got it.
All right. So the bolt, this bolt, it's already been machined as well. The bolt face here, it has been trued, right? And the important bolt lugs on the back, they have been trued. So now these bolt lugs again, when the bolt goes into the receiver and it's in lockup, those two surfaces made up perfect.
Flat and square.
That's what we're going to do to your bolt. That's what we're going to do to your receiver. But here's the recoil lug that I pulled off the barrel. And it's very important that, that the recoil lug be machined as well, because the recoil lug is going to be sandwiched between the shoulder of the barrel and the face of that receiver. And if that recoil lug is not absolutely parallel and flat, right, it's not going to allow that barrel to settle in the same spot in the firing sequence as it needs to. Okay. Once we've done the recoil lug, then we're going to move on to the barrel itself. We'll set the barrel up in the lathe, get it dialed in the way that we want it dialed in, and then we'll cut the tenon, we'll cut the threads, and we'll cut the shoulder, and we're going to make sure that when that shoulder is cut on the barrel, that that recoil lug will sit hard flush against that shoulder, and then it's going to sit hard flush against the face of that receiver. So that way, when everything is tightened down, there's not going to be any deviation between shot to shot because everything is locked up like a bank vault. It's not like you've got a point of contact on one side and no contact on the other, which is allowing that barrel to point off some way that we don't want it to point off. So from this point, it's really time to get your pieces and parts fixtured up. And once we've got things fixtured up, we can start doing some machining and make this barrel yours and hopefully get this rifle shooting the way that you would hope it to shoot.
I'm very excited about this. This is awesome. This is cool.
All right, Chris, well, the bolt work is now done.
I see.
Yeah, a lot of setup time for very little metal cutting.
It was.
Next thing we can move on to is a recoil lug.
All right.
All right. All right, so here's how it started.
Right.
All right, and there's the first pass. So we've got this side nice and trued up. So I'm gonna put this side down, I'm gonna true the other side.
Got it.
We've got the other side ground now.
There you go.
Right.
Nice and shiny. I like
Good.
shiny. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go back in the shop now.
Okay.
We'll clean all the parts off, take some measurements, and get ready to do that barrel like we mentioned.
Awesome.
All right.
Hi there, my name is Cameron with Agri Supply. So, lawnmowers are a pretty must-have thing to keep your yard and your land clean and clear. So today we're going to run through a checklist of just certain things to keep your lawnmower running strong all season long. So the first thing you want to do before you perform any form of maintenance on that lawnmower is you always want to unplug your spark plug first. Typically, you always want to also get new oil every single season. Generally, most newer lawnmowers are going to need oil around every 45 to 50 hours after you use them, and you just want to go ahead and change that oil on them. Keep them running good and strong. You also want to go ahead and check your air filter. If it's kind of, a little bit dirty or something like that, you can just clean it with a loose brush. But if it's too dirty, it's extremely dirty, you just want to go ahead and replace the whole air filter itself. Be sure your mower blades are sharp by purchasing new ones every season at Agri Supply. Dull blades will make your mower work harder and result in uneven grass. Here at Agri Supply, we offer hundreds of blades, filters, and other parts to keep that mower running happy all season long. Make sure you either shop with us online or see us locally. Agri Supply is what's inside.
Chris, let's get this barrel in the lathe. And insert it through the back end here.
Out through the back side.
Yeah, we'll get it coming out the chuck there where we need it. All right, Chris, I've got the barrel in the lathe now. I've got everything properly indicated in. Had it within 2/10 like we talked about.
Right.
I've already started to turn the tenon. I've got a few more passes to make on that tenon. And once I have it to proper diameter, then it's onto the threading. That way we can fit the action to the barrel.
Okay.
Then we'll do some chambering and get this thing together and ready to shoot.
All right.
All right, let's make some chips. Everything is where it needs to be. So let me set up for threading and we'll make some more chips. Well, after a lot of machining, we've got the threads done, we've got the counterbore done, we've got it chambered, we've got everything cleaned up. So what we need to do now is put your recoil lug on, put your receiver on, and actually check the headspace to make sure that that chamber that we cut is cut into proper specification. See that snap? That's what you want. We want to see the bolt actually close on this go gauge.
Okay.
All right, that's telling us that it's going to be able to accept properly spec'd ammunition. All right, bolt is going the way that it needs to go. All right, now we're gonna take this no-go gauge, and there's about 4 thousandths difference between that go gauge and that no-go gauge.
Right.
So, we talked about that yesterday in that thickness of a piece of paper. It's not much. So what should happen this time, I should insert the bolt in, and it should not close.
Okay.
Should come to a good hard stop, and that's exactly what we've got. What we need to do now is pull this whole mess out of the lathe, take it back to the barrel vise, torque the action on, and put it together. Once it's put together, we'll clean it, and you're going to be soon ready to fire your first groups through it.
That's exciting. It really is.
Here we go. Ready for final assembly and shooting.
See the end result coming up after these messages. Carolina All Out is brought to you by Farms and Land Realty. Selling land is what we do. Creek Boats, the ultimate in small boating. High and Dry, work hard, play hard, stay dry. The Dixie Deer Classic, the South's premier sportsman's event.
Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source, and by Thorn Broadheads, the world's most accurate broadhead. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Carolina All Out.
Chris is now back at the college anticipating the big reveal of his newly reworked Remington.
Lynn,
Chris,
the moment of truth.
the moment of truth.
So I do remember what she looked like before we brought her on here, and then she, things started happening to the rifle and with the excitement. So, you've told me a little bit over the period of time that you guys were getting some things done to it, so I'm very excited to see what is here. So,
Well, it doesn't look quite the same.
wow, look at that.
A little different, huh?
It is, and we were looking at a silver barrel before, and this is Cerakote here?
Yeah, that's a Schilling stainless barrel that we've Cerakoted black.
And man, doesn't that look good.
Then we went in on your 700 action and we trued the action. We recut the threads in the receiver. We trued the receiver face. We recut the lug abutments in the receiver. We cut the back of the bolt lugs. We cut the bolt face, and we trued the recoil lug. So we just made sure that everything was mating up the way that it needed to mate up. Chambered that barrel in 270. We also added to it a nice Trigger Tech trigger, and then the whole barrel to action is now sitting in this Bell & Carlson stock.
Which I love, look at that.
Front we've got a set of DNZ one-piece ring and base combination there. It's going to hold that loophole scope just where it needs to be.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it so much.
You are welcome. You are definitely welcome.
This is fantastic.
It's been a pleasure working on it.
Okay, you guys saw this thing come together. Now you're going to get to see it shoot, I hope. We're here on the refuge at Cherry Island, and we skipped Valentine, and he said, hey, there should be some deer coming out this afternoon. I'm very excited. We need to put some meat in the freezer, and I'm so ready to shoot this gun. The boys have taken this thing, put a Bell & Carlson stock, blueprinted the action. We got a Trigger Tech trigger installed in it. It's shooting so crisp, and the DNZ scope mounts, the loophole scope is just a perfect combination for shooting these deer here in North Carolina, chambered in 270. I'm very excited about putting this thing to the test, so we're gonna sit back in and see what happens this afternoon. I'm very excited. Right here, right here. There's two does right here. They came actually from right behind us. I didn't even see them until they were right here. Okay. Yeah, that's a big old nanny. Big nanny. All right, wait till she gets broadside. Okay, I'm gonna take the one in the back here. That's a bigger doe. You ready? Yeah. Well, that took the afternoon, but once the process started, it didn't take long. That was the bigger of the two does that came in. Wasn't a super far shot, but that doe is gonna feed a lot of people this winter. We're looking very forward to putting her up for the winter. All right, here she is. Well, got a river bottom doe here we took with a trusty 270 that you guys will probably see a lot more of over the years to come here on the show. We have partnered up with Montgomery Community College some years back, and they've been fantastic partners. And what they do at the college is amazing. This gun was just an average gun, and they turned it into a real shooting gun, a gun that keeps zero, that is shooting sub MOA. We've never had a built gun before. The guys did it for us, and I couldn't be happier, and we took this deer with it, and there'll be many more deer we'll take with it, I'm sure. But I'm just very proud of this very special moment, and I thank the guys for doing this for us. Looking forward to doing some more things with guns in the future. I'm Chris Douglas with Carolina All Out, and remember, our state is your next adventure.
Awesome.
Daisy.